Alright, so today we're going to look at essentially just fundamentals. We're going to start with roles. We're going to dive a bit into main DPS, flex DPS, main support, flex support. But we're going to look primarily at tank, because tank has a lot going on. The other ones are easier to classify, put into their own perspective roles, and then do a generalization for that role. But tank is its own role. So, we need to look at resource management, what takes resources, effective uses of passive play, demands that are coming from a tank. So we have Diva, Doom, Junker Queen, Magua, Hog, Ryan, Ram, Orisa, Ritsigua, blah 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 blah. We all know. We know all these characters. We can start classifying them into dive tanks, brawl tanks, and this is a dive tank, and poke. So that's the classification we got for tanks. DPS support are more flexible when it comes to these comps. Let's start with tank. Tank has, number one, it holds space. Tanks hold space. What is space? It is places where you can comfortably play, where your Ashe can get picks, your supports can stand, and where you can generally stabilize as a team. This is pretty basic stuff. Number two, they engage. They engage. For example, Reinhardt, he puts his little barrier up, blocks damage as we go in. And he gets our team composition to the fight. Your job as a tank is to escort your DPS, your position, your supports, your flankers, not flankers, but your flex DPS into a comfortable position. Adequate to a comfortable position, you want enough space so that your damage dealers can take comfortable off angles. That is the general idea. You want to take space, engage, which also creates more space, and you want to control the fight. Now, to do this, a tank, of course, needs resources. Tank can be a very demanding role for resources. We need healing, we need speed, we need immo, we need packs, we need pylon, we need speed, we need Susu, we need Discord, we need fucking healing ore, we need damage boost. We need all of this stuff to do our job as a tank. So, I got some lovely little illustrations there. So, what is the expense of a tank getting resources? My tank, let's say I have a Diva here. I'm playing an Ana break comp. My Diva, she's taking a lot of damage. That means I need to heal her. It means my Brig needs to put a pack on her. That means I, as a support, I need to rotate. I need to move myself to make sure I can support this Diva. That is taking a lot of resources, a lot of attention. While, if my tank is playing smarter, using more cover, playing more passively, I, as a support, can take comfortable angles. I can use my utility offensively. As certain characters, like Ana, just nade, she can use it both defensively. Nade the fucking Diva. She's taking a lot of damage. I need to heal her. I nade her. That's pretty basic. I can also use it offensively. Get an Ashe, get a Sojourn, to get these people antied.
Hello.
Anti-DPS cannot poke. They won't be able to do anything. So we need to try and save our support resources for them to use it offensively. As well as Baptiste. Baptiste doesn't essentially have any super aggressive utility, but he has regen burst. Gives him 150 or something health. It's insane. For a little squishy like this with this much damage, that's insane. If he uses it to heal his tank, he doesn't have it. He can't comfortably dual DPS anymore. and he can't damage. This is what we're going to look at. How much does my tank really need when it comes to resources? So I have gotten a couple illustrations from us. We have this. I'll zoom in so we can see more clearly. So this is a situation I screenshotted from one of Spillow's streams. Can we see what is wrong with this picture? We can of course start. We're playing Diva. We are playing Diva on Watchpoint Gibraltar. We have a Sombra, we have a Widow, we have a Mercy, and we have a Sun. When I have walked this way to this position, maybe, I engaged, I took some damage, I retreated, blah, blah. I come to this position, my health bar. I'm on half health. That means this Sen needs to put this girl on me. This Mercy needs to stop damage boosting my Sen, stop watching or damage boosting our Widow, stop supporting these two characters just because I was bad with my positioning. Sombra doesn't get her Harmony Orb because I took too much damage. Now, of course, sometimes you need resources. Sometimes it's okay to use resources. But as a tank, you are getting 2, 3, 4 times the amount of resources as a DPS. So when you are actively engaging and using resources, you need to make sure that you're in an adequate position to get value. You want your resources to be less than the value you get. You can also get indirect value by not using resources. The less resources, the less value I need to get to make the trade worth it. So we can keep moving on. Another illustration. Same point, same team comp. We see me as Diva. I'm here. I have about 2/4 of my health bar left. I got like 300 health. What does this do? It makes, as we will see, I have Orb. Mercy, as you see, she's starting to push upwards. She has to push upwards. She can't be damage boosting my Sen now. She can't be watching the Sen. She can't be making sure my Diva isn't getting attacked. She has to push up and heal me. Because I chose a bad position and engaged at a poor time. As well as the Sombra is currently under a lot of pressure. She has chosen a bad place to engage and has probably 4 people that can effectively look at her. So she's also taken a lot of resources. This is problematic. My Mercy is going to have to push up here, get herself out of a comfortable position, away from natural cover, away from my Sen, to come help my Sorias. But, of course, what if I do something with all of these resources? What if I kill 2 people? Well, then it's all fine and dandy. But we need to make sure that our resources do not outweigh our value. This is, of course, difficult to think about mid-fight. We have to figure out, if I engage this, does the enemy team, have adequate resources to respond to it? Are they going to use more resources than me? Am I going to get something out of it? Am I going to take their attention? Am I going to waste their time? Am I going to pressure them? And is all of this worth it? That is a question we need to constantly asking ourselves when playing tank. I have another example here. Again, Spillo, lovely stood. I'm playing Doomfist on Havana. I have a Moira, I have an Ana, I have a Junk, I have a Kree, and I have myself as Doomfist. What is wrong with this position right here? Well, I'm standing out in the open. I'm completely at the mercy of This dude's aim, this dude's aim, this dude's aim, this dude sleeping me, this guy pinning me, this guy five striking me, this guy slamming me. And I'm at half HP. I don't even have my movement yet. So, what's then going to happen is I need to retreat. I need to go back. I need to make maybe Anna uses her nade on me. I need Moira to I need Anna to use her nade. Maybe Moira needs to use a healing orb. And these two people need to change their position to accommodate for me. We can't use nade offensively. We can't use a damage orb and squishies. And we have lost this space effectively because we were a bit greedy. So, what happens is my Moira is here with her Kree. I'm standing here, taking all of this damage. I need to retreat. My Anna's somewhere back here. I need to retreat here, back to natural cover, which I didn't, because I wasn't in natural cover at the start. Yes, of course, I need to build my power block. That's all fine and dandy, but we can do it at a more shallow angle. Not out in the open, closer to natural cover. So I can get it, I can go back, I can then engage. So, what happens is, I have to retreat. My Moira here is reactively going to leave my Kree, come all the way here. Maybe she does some bad pathing, goes straight across here, and takes a lot of damage. She needs to pop her healing orb on me. She needs to heal me. And we have taken resources away from our Kree. We have used up nade. We've used healing orb. We've used fade. And we have given them space. All because of our positioning when using block. All because we didn't think about what resources we were using and the value we're getting out of them. So, here is another example. Here I'm standing, or I'm not am, but the Doom is standing right beside natural cover. Natural cover here, natural cover behind us, one here, and we're blocking. Our health bar, it's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with this position. This is a great position. I don't need to take a lot of resources because I'm not out in the open. Yes, of course, these people can see me, but I can move. I can walk here, I can walk back here, and I will get my punch. I will get my power punch without using half my health bar, without making my Moira reposition, without using nade, without using healing orb, without all of these things. I haven't taken a lot of resources, but I've still got a lot of value done. I've enabled my own power punch, which forces these people to be wary of me. So this is all fine and dandy. So this is back what I'm talking about. It's resource management. That's the key thing. I need to wonder, what resources do I take? When do I have to pansy? When do I have to peek shallow angles? When do I not need to peek? When do I not need to take poke? And I need to be facing the demands I face to my supports. If you make positional mistakes, your supports are forced to make positional mistakes. When your supports make positional mistakes, there isn't adequate resources left for DPS. When you take all of the resources, I can't use, can't use a pack on my tracer. I can't pack my tracer. I can't damage boost my sojourn. I can't nade the backline. All of these things disappear the second we take too many resources. Of course, sometimes we need to take resources. We're engaging, we're actively fighting. But when we take these resources, we need to make sure we can get value with it. Now, what even is value? Well, it's value if I, as the tank, get my DPS into a good position to do damage, get my supports in a safe position, get her closer to our effective range. See, I don't need to be killing people. I don't need to be slamming. I don't need to be diving. I need to make sure this happens. This is what needs to happen. Good position for supports, good position for DPS, adequate space to play safe. This is what needs to happen. Damage you do is a bonus. And the resources you take is a minus. We need to be actively thinking about this when playing tank. So, of course, we have 2 other roles. We actually have 4 other roles. 5, if you want to be really technical. We have our main DPS, and we have our flex DPS. Our main DPS, marked in yellow, Ashe, Hanzo, Sojourn, Soldier, Kree, Bastion, Reaper. Yeah. Maybe Junkrat, but he doesn't get played. So, we have main DPS. These will be our primary damage dealers. This is what we're going to slap, Mercy Pocket on. This is what we're going to put our resources into. These are what is ultimately going to kill the enemy. They're going to apply frontline pressure, maybe some off angles. And normally, when we want to create a good team comp, we want 1 main DPS and 1 flex DPS. Because these 2 roles have different roles, I know, crazy. So, our flex DPS, Echo, Genji, Pharah, Mei, Sombra. And then we come to this part. These characters down here are exceptions. Why? Because these characters work well with everything. Tracer works with both main DPS and flex DPS. Widow works primarily good with both of them. She works well with Tracer, she works well with Sojourn, she works well with Hanzo. She can work well with another flanker, maybe a flyer. So these are then our exceptions. These are exceptions because they work well with both roles. Can be difficult to understand, but that's just how it is. So we want 1 main, 1 flex, and of course, to every rule, there are exceptions. There are double sniper maps where I want to play Ashe, Thoj, double hit scan, maybe Hanzo Widow. Maybe sometimes we want to play Genji Echo or Echo Pharah or something. There are exceptions to everything. Look, rule of thumb, 1 main, 1 flex, and you have a good DPS lineup. Supports. Supports also have 1 main and 1 flex. Now, these are kind of outdated terms. These came in early Overwatch 1 because of how this role would often flex. But we can still make it work. So, our main support is going to be our main utility for a team. They're going to apply the damage, the Lucio boost, the speed boost. They're going to apply packs, space, because it's space holder. They're going to apply damage boost. They're going to apply these things. That's our main support. And they pair quite well with a flex support. Our Honors, our Babs, our Kirikos, our Junos, our Moira, our Ilari. Fuck Life Weaver. So, the flex support is going to do primarily healing. They're going to do the most healing, but a lot of them also have offensive capabilities. Sun, of course, damage dealer. It does a lot of damage. Discord is an incredibly powerful tool. Nade, used offensively, very effective. Bap, he can both do damage and heal. Ilari, both damage and heal. Juno, both damage and heal and speed. So a little fun one here. So, when it comes to calling out and what we want, who we want to call out in a scrim setting or in a game, first of all, primary shot caller, our tank. Our tank sees the front line. They see everything. They're here, and they can see the enemy team. They have the most responsibility. They need to plan accordingly. We want to engage here. We want to take this path. We want to use these ults. We want to use this. We want to do this. Blah blah blah. Here's our primary shot caller, our tank. Our secondary shot caller is going to be our main support. Now, why is this? Kind of similar to tank. Our main support, if we pull up Microsoft Painter, yeah, imagine I have my team here. I am standing here. This is my tank. My DPS are somewhere here. My support is here. And I'm here. I see all of this. I see everything. My tank, he only sees this. So, this is why our main support is our secondary shot caller. They can see a lot. They can see a flank. They can see a tracer lurking behind. They can see maybe my Ryan got walled. Well, me as the main support, I see it. I can call that out to my Ryan. Ryan, you want to go left? Come up as Lucio, we speed him out. Get him out of there. And you re-engage. That's all fine and dandy. The second reason why we want our main support to be the primary or secondary shot caller is because they personally don't need a lot of focus. Of course, it's a scrim. You're thinking a lot of things. Everyone is thinking about a lot of things. Everyone is doing everything. But main support, you don't have to actively aim to keep your team alive. This healing is omnidirectional. This healing is omnidirectional. You literally just attach a beam. It's not rocket science. These characters can do their job in a very simple way, which is why they have the freedom of thinking. When I'm playing BAP, I have to look this, I have to look here, I look here. Oh my god, I need to shoot the fucking tracer. I need to heal my tank. Oh no, now my soldier is getting dived. I need to lamp her. Everything is going on for a flex support. For a main support, of course, there's things going on, but there's drastically less going on. So we have the freedom of thinking. That is why secondary shot caller. Also, often ult tracking. You want to track your ults and what they have, what we have, what we want to do with them. That's all fine and dandy. Now that we know our roles, we need to look into our comps. What makes a good composition? We start with the base, a tank. I want to play a dive comp, a highly mobile comp. I'm gonna play Diva. I'm gonna play something to capitalize on the space that the dive gets. I want to play a hit scan. I'm gonna play this character. Dynamites pair well with engages, and I can just shoot because people are focusing on these people. I want to play Tracer. Tracer is a staple in so many fucking comps. It has good mobility, it pairs well with Diva. Now for my supports. I want to have an Ana for ranged healing, and I want to have a Brig to protect my Ana. And most importantly for Brig, Pack Tracer. When we're playing this combination of dive, this person shouldn't waste all their packs on Ana. They need to be wasting their packs on Tracer, on maybe Ashe, maybe my Soldier's is taking an off angle, maybe my Genji needs a pack. Packs need to go to DPS. Packing your tank is not that big of a portion of their health. Of course, it's going to help, but the resource isn't spent optimally on this target. It is spent optimally on this target, and this target, and this target, and sometimes this target. So, we need to figure out what characters work well together and create a comp around it. That's a dive comp, a rush comp, say simple, Ryan. That's the core. The second core is we need speed. We need something to get us from A to B quickly, because this comp doesn't have range. So, pair it with a BAP. Let's do a Soldier because Soldier is good. And we pick a Mei for walls. and close quarter of combat. That's a rush comp. You want to take the straightest path possible to the target and try and capitalize of this. And we have a poke comp. Sigma, Ash. I believe we actually played Tracer in the last VOD. And I believe we played BAP and Mercy. This one is a doozy. We love this comp. We played it a lot in our scrims, and we need to understand it. We want to take angles. We want to keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting and keep sustaining. The longer our comp is alive, the higher is the probability of us landing a good rock, our Ash getting a pick, our Tracer capitalizing off a dynamite, my BAP doing damage, Mercy damage boosting a vital target. All of these things can happen, but they need time. They don't happen like that. They happen over time. So that brings us to, where are our comps good? Where do we use these comps? Sometimes it can be difficult to understand when I should use these comps and why they're effective. What counters what? And what do I want to play in my scrims? See. So, second point, power spikes. When is my comp effective? This is Lampy's favorite term in Overwatch. And as I do, I love my illustrations. So, everything can be explained with a graph. I'm a fond believer of this. Let's do a more vibrant color. Let's do blue. Blue is perfect. So, let's look at poke. Poke's damage and poke's value goes like this. It goes a bit up and down, but it goes in a pretty straight line. Because poke gets value over time. The longer the fight happens, the more is our chances of getting that pick, our Tracer capitalizing off that dynamite, us getting a good rock. These things. Now, when we look at something like a rush comp and a dive comp, it changes. These comps needs effective range. Our effective range is long. We can do damage from any part of the map, and we need to utilize it. These comps need to get close. That is the difference. Their value goes like this. You start off not getting a lot of value because you're not in adequate range. You need to do pathing, you need to do rotations, and you need to get to the enemies. Of course, maybe you have a Surge, maybe you core 5 strike, you get a bit of value, but you don't get a lot. This part is what we want to make sure goes as smoothly, as effectively, and as fast as possible. We don't want to fuck up rotations on rush, because that is half of the comp. We want to get in. When we're here, we want to make sure we have as much health, as many abilities, as good as understanding of what's happening as possible. The more cooldowns, the more health we have, when we reach this point of being in effective range, the better. Now, dive works in a quite similar way. Dive starts off as having 0 value until it certainly has so much. It has so much value. That's because we don't need to worry too much about the pathing. Dive includes characters like Tracer, Winston, maybe it has a Sojourn. These characters have a good mobility. Rush doesn't always have mobility characters, but these characters in Dive have mobility. That means we don't need to take one pathing. We don't need to go one way. We can go 1,000 ways. We can go every way we want. And we can close that distance very quickly. So it certainly goes from doing nothing to doing everything. And when we're in everything, because we have used abilities to come here, maybe we take some damage. We want to end this fight quickly. Dive coordinates to do 2 things. Go for backline. Execute key targets. Target prioritization. This is it. We don't want to dive a Reinhardt, because Reinhardt's not going to die. We want to dive a Sen, because Sen is going to die. We want to dive a Baptiste, because he's the flex support. We can force out his cooldowns. We want to dive a Kree. He doesn't have great mobility to get away. We don't want to dive a Tracer. She can get away. We don't want to dive a Ball. He can get away. We got to think about this. So, to execute a dive, you need good callouts. You need a plan. Everyone is essentially everywhere in a dive comp. My Tracer can be here, maybe the Winston's here, maybe Lucio's here. Maybe there's some fucker over here. Who fucking knows? Anyways, these people have different line of sights. What our tank or our main support or fucking anyone needs to do is tell us where the enemy is. Where is our key target? Our key target is right by doorway, and this is Sanyata. Now that me as Tracer knows this, I know he's in doorway. I'm gonna go behind. I'm gonna go to the doorway. My Winston knows he's in doorway. I'm gonna jump on the doorway. My Ash knows he's at the doorway. I'm gonna throw dynamite at the doorway. My Lucy knows he's at the doorway. I'm gonna wall ride to the doorway. You need accurate comps. Accurate comps is key. You need timing. Everything needs to happen at once. You don't want to first go in with Winston, let him die, then you go with your Tracer, let her die, then your Lucio goes in and he dies. No, you want to do it as a five. It needs to happen at the same time. Timing is so important. And that is where we come to my second favorite, the tap principle. Every fight in Overwatch can be explained with the tap principle. What went right, what went wrong? It stands for timing, attention, and pressure. These three things need to be nailed. When I am playing a normal comp with one, say I'm playing Ashe and I'm playing Tracer, or actually I'm playing Soldier and I'm playing Tracer. What is the correct time for us to go in? Well, we want to go in when we have cooldowns, when we have Soldier charge, when we have enough health to do it, and when we know what we're going to do. These things we need to know before we go in. And if we have all of this, we need to execute it with correct timing. Our main core can move up. Imagine this as fucking statue on the King's Road. As we go in, maybe our DPS comes in from the side. Maybe my Sword slides behind here with her rail, ready to pick off any targets in the backline. This needs to happen with good timing. With good timing, they have split attention. Attention is an important resource. This is a resource. Just as healing, just as ultimate charge, just as health, attention is a resource. We're humans, we don't have unlimited of it. If I need to watch 3 angles at the same time, my brain is gonna go fucking fry. Oh my god, I need to watch the Reaper flanking. Oh my god, their whole team is charging at us. Oh, the Sojourn is on the off angle. This is too much for someone to deal with. This creates panic, and it averts attention. If I look at this person, Soldier's gonna fucking rail me. If I look at this person, Reaper and Soldier are gonna fucking rail me. If I look at this person, Reaper is gonna rail me. You want to split their attention. The more split their attention is, the better. And this needs to happen with good timing. And when all of this comes together, we need to apply adequate pressure. When all of this lines up, we need to fucking capitalize on it. They aren't watching our Soldier, and our Soldier needs to hit her shots. Our team needs to path correctly to the enemy. Our Reaper needs to do the correct flank and pressure key targets. We want to pressure key targets, always key targets. If I'm playing Soch, I don't want to be shooting big Reinhardt. I want to be shooting little Bap or little Lucio. These are more effective targets because these will die faster. Right? So that comes us to target focusing. What do we want to target? It depends really on the comp. What comp you're playing, what comp they're playing. It's all dependent. And it's really not rocket science. Target focus, you can quickly think of what is the correct target to do here, what should we do, when should we do it. And it of course it matters with the enemy's positioning, what comp they're playing, and what characters to play. So now we come to clockwork. This is especially important for DPS, but it's important for everyone. So clockwork is a positional tool we can use to just make positioning make a bit more sense. We have our enemy here. They're standing here. This is our enemy. Our team is standing here. What we can do is draw a little clock around the enemy. This is where we want to stay. This is good positions. If I'm a flanker, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Because what's scary with this is there can be people here. You know, this person can look at me. I'm shooting them. They can shoot me. You know, maybe there's someone back here or there's back here. And this gives me limited view. This gives me limited view of the field. It makes me sandwiched. And it's generally a bad position. Now, if we follow the clockwork principle, we want to stay somewhere on this clock. If I'm the tracer, I can stay here. That's completely fine. Even if I'm not in effective range, I see everything. I see the enemy. That's important. If I'm playing tracer, I sneak around here. I go here. On the clock. Here, I can still see everything. And I'm in effective range of this target. I can try to pick this target off. I can avert their attention. Because when they're not looking this way, they have to look that way. Split attention. It's important. If I'm playing, say, Surge, I can apply the same principle. My team is standing firmly here and shooting, blah, 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 blah. We're fighting here, blah, blah. I can go on a slight off angle here. I still see everything. I can see everything here. If I start sliding in and I am here, yes, I can still see everything quite clearly, but I'm in effective range of their characters. I have to watch out because it's easy to get sandwiched. When you're not in this clock diameter, you open yourself up to get sandwiched. Of course, we don't want to get sandwiched. I don't want to have to look left, right, up and down. I want to be able to look one direction. The less directions I have to look at, the easier it is for me to plan. And the easier it is for me to stay alive. So, remember, always play around the clock. Play around the clock. Always play around the clock. This diameter around the enemy team is quite effective for us to get good view. Maybe we'll move around here. But we want to see the enemy. We don't want to be wondering where the enemy is. We don't want to be open ourselves up to flanks, to sandwiches. We don't want to be caught off guard. By implementing this clock principle, we stop that from happening. If I'm all the way back here in Tracer, everyone isn't going to turn on me. They can't. They're not going to be able to. They're going to die. If I'm standing here, and my team is here, everyone can turn on me. And I will fucking die. They won't die. It's just still facing the same direction. That is the main thing. Avert attention away from the main fight by doing good positions on the clock as a flanker and taking slight off angles in a comfortable position as a hit scan. You still see everything? Everything is available for you. So you can do it. The less you have to see, the less you have to look out for enemies, the less you have to think about, the better you play. Right? I think I'm finito.